Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday afternoon. Figured I am gonna start painting this guy, and I actually, as you can see, I got a little bit done on him. You can see enough to know that he is very cross-eyed from this shot. Uh, but I don't know, we might try to fix that. I don't know how much I care. It's actually kind of funny that he's a little bit cross-eyed, but it should be okay. Should be okay. Uh, but yeah, this is the Goblin King from Goblin King Games, and their awesome, awesome game known as Moonstone. It's been a perennial favorite for our group, so we've been really enjoying Moonstone. We're gonna be blocking this guy off and painting him, but in fact, now that I think about it, we probably do want to fix his eyes, but there are actually 4 miniatures on this little 30 mil base. There's one there, there's the Goblin King, there's another one there, and there's one here. So we might as well work on the other 3. And what we're going to do is I'm going to color block them, and then we'll color block them, and then we'll get into the painting proper. All right. So I don't want them to have the same complexion that the Goblin King has. I feel like he should kind of stand alone in his complexion. So what I'm going to do on these other guys is I'm going to make them a little more green, a little more true green than he is. So they're going to be a little more like, they're going to be maybe more absolution green. And we'll cut that, we'll thin it a little bit while we're, so what I'm going to do while we're color blocking. So I'm just going to go a single drop of absolution green, and then we're going to mix that with a little bit of runic gray. And again, this step is just color blocking, okay? The point of this exercise is not to speed paint this, because this is a super cool model, and I don't want to speed paint. But this is how I block. Hey, what's up, Placebo Pete? I don't know why it's not showing up in this chat here. Hold on. Is this not? It should show up. No, it should show up. Weird. It should be good there. I don't know why it's not showing up here. Whatever. It's so weird that that's not. Huh. Whatever. Yeah, it's not showing up on my screen there. What time tomorrow? Well, I'm gonna be there at open, and then the plan is I'm going to I have to help set up for the Shatterpoint event, and I might play in the first round, but I wouldn't be too worried about that if I were you, because I think the plan is for most of us to get there around opening. So even if you're not playing me in the first game, Jake and Chris and the rest of the group will all be on hand as well. So there's going to be plenty to do. So I would try to get there pretty early if you can. If not, I should be free probably around 1 or so to play some Moonstone. So not sure why my chat box isn't working. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, so let's get going. So I'm gonna get so you can see the other goblins. He's more of a gray, and the other goblins are, as you can see, they're deeper. They're at least starting a deeper green. What I don't want to do is I don't want these to be bright like GW Orc Green. I want them to have their own sort of character. Uh-oh. Hey! Hold on. Hold on, hold on. I don't want to yell on camera. I gotta... Hold on. Okay. I have to yell at my kids. They're at that age, right? They're in a room together. They can't play in harmony. So they just yell at each other. Right? And for those of you like myself, I have many siblings growing up, and it was always loud and chaotic in our house. Well, I mean, it's stuff like that. My wife is trying to rush to get them into separate bedrooms, but I'm like, no, it builds character. You need to you need to share a room with another person. You need to deal with another person and consider it a life skill. So, anyway, just thought I would share that with the rest of you because it's super funny to me. Yeah, I do not know why my chat box is not working. What is going on here? Trying to figure out the rest of the skin on this guy. But yeah, right now we're just gonna color block this in. We're gonna do a little bit of work on eyes mostly, and then we'll finish color blocking it in. And yeah, I mean, this is a pretty, as you can tell, it's a pretty complex model. This is about the most complex model I've ever seen that's on a 30 mil base. The fact that it's on a 30 mil base to me is insanity. That you are able, that they were able to sculpt something that really should be on like at least a 40 mil base. But this is like you could see him. It's on a 30 mil base, and yeah, there's a couple of parts that are hanging over, but come on, I mean, have you seen like some of the other sculpts that are supposed to be 30 mil bases, where they can't even, you can't even glue them to the base? Um, these are some strong little goblins. Look at this guy's ripped. But yeah, so we're gonna get some color down on these guys. I'm not terribly concerned about making that many mistakes right now, because really this is about getting this done. Hey, kiddo.
Can I have some goldfish?
Yeah, go get the box. Ask your mom to get them for you. Yeah, there you go. Goldfish. That'll calm down. That'll calm down the kid. Right? Just get him some goldfish. So you got these guys, right? Okay. So now we're gonna do eyes, and this Da Vinci brush has been phenomenal, but I have destroyed it. As you can see, it does not pull itself. It no longer forms a tip sharp enough to do eyes. See that? No longer. It is now purely a base coat brush. So I'm going to swap over to a 0, which is typically what I... Hold on. All right. If somebody was in, I'm not in the Discord because like usually when I stream, I usually am in my on-air Discord at the same time. But if you're on the on-air, if you were on the on-air Discord, um, while I'm yelling at my kids, sorry, that would be super funny. It would be very funny. All right, so it's time to start. We're gonna start working on eyes, and there's tiny little grins in there too. So we'll work on that as well. Okay. I really hate switching to a zero brush. I don't like zero brushes. I barely like size 1 brushes. I really like size 2 brushes. Size 2 brushes for me are like absolutely perfect. They're exactly where I want to be. But if we can't be there, we can't be there, right? So we're going to go in with these. We're going to go in with a size 0 brush. This is, instead of using a black, I use either a rubber black by AK, or this is my favorite color in this sort of tone here that I like to call 10 Bros Gray. Because it's called 10 Bros Gray. And it's like there's a whole mouth on the other side of this mini that I have no idea how to get to. It's like in there. Let me show you the color if you're not convinced that what 10 Bros, see? 10 Bros Gray. I know it says Tenebris, don't worry about that. I can read, but I like to call it 10 Bros Gray. It's one of my favorite. If you have to paint off black, or like a charcoal black, 10 Bros Gray is where you should be. Or also, like I said, rubber black is very good. Dark gray is decent. But really, I mean, why paint with any other gray if 10 Bros Gray is an option? If you only have 9 Bros Gray, it's not nearly as good. So, and I understand, like, not everybody can lead the life of luxury that I have to be able to paint with 10 Bros Gray. But you really do. You really should be using good colors like 10 Bros Gray for stuff like this. Alright, so this guy's like kind of squinting. It's funny. Yeah, I'm actually, it's actually super funny on the Goblin King being cross-eyed. He looks like a cartoon character right now. We'll fix that. Okay. Then we're going to need some white. Hey, buddy. You remember when my kids wanted to be on stream? Now they just leave me alone. They do not. They used to like being on stream. Especially Octavius. He used to like being on stream. When we talk trash about Disney, they grow up so fast. You consider, like, it's not even, for him, it's like not even worth discussing anymore. Disney's just bad. So he just lives with that. Anyway. Alright. So let's do, I'm going to do a little bit of white here. Okay. This, when you're painting white for eyes, you don't want it to be too thick, but you also don't want it to clump. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flatten out my glob of white paint with just a tiny little bit of water in it. Okay. And now I'm keep looking at this guy. I do want to fix his eye here, so I am going to paint over that, right? See? It's my favorite thing to do is paint eyes on stream, as you guys know. I absolutely hate painting eyes on stream. And then we lost our viewers. We lost our viewers. That's not good. Okay, and let's go ahead and paint in some of these teeth. Hey, what's up, Nelson? How's it going, dude? Welcome to Moonstone Painting, sir. So yeah, painting up the Goblin King here. And are you going to the Shatterpoint tournament tomorrow? Because I am. I will be at the Shatterpoint tournament tomorrow. I will be bringing my new Padme squad. And I'll be playing about a game. I'll probably play one game of Shatterpoint. You know, Shatterpoint is just sort of for me. It's okay. It's not the Star Wars. It's it's all prequel stuff for the most part right now, and so it's not the most exciting thing for me. Right now, all the hype for me is this game right here, Moonstone. Love me some Moonstone, Drowned Earth, Carnival, Malifaux. See, right now, all those games are, we'll say, kind of on my radar right now. So I'm looking for games of those. Okay. He loves my work and has seen many. Oh, cool. Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment. I'm glad she enjoys them. I hope you enjoy them as well. But yeah, it's I've still been painting lots. I just really haven't had much streaming time. As you can tell, I'm stopping to yell at my kids, every few minutes here because that's what you do at this stage of dadhood. This is the part of dadhood where you're yelling at your kids quite a bit. All right, you go hang out. Well, you could play. Yeah. I mean, you're welcome. You could play Shatterpoint, or you could play Moonstone. There's, you could play with Placebo Pete and Jake and those guys who are coming to. They're going to be playing some Infinity and some Moonstone as well. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to lend you minis if you want to play some Moonstone. Okay. Let's try to make him less cross-eyed this time. And he looks less cross-eyed. that's good. That's what we were hoping for, team. We just wanted him to be less cross-eyed. I think we have achieved that. If the guy above him is cross-eyed, it's not as big a deal. So we'll dot in his eyes, and I don't need to be terribly precise to do that. There we go. Right? He doesn't need to be terribly precise. The guy below, also, he doesn't need to be terribly precise, so I'm just gonna hit that in there. And then this guy here, he should actually be somewhat precise because you're kind of looking at him. And then we'll start to block out what these colors are. I saw a little bit of what the example art is, so, but I don't think I'm gonna follow that a whole lot. I'll follow it to a little degree, but I'm not gonna be bound to it. That's kind of how I'm looking at that. That's pretty good. The only other thing I need to do is I want to stick a little bit of white in the side of his eye right here. So all I want to do right there. There we go. Right, just to make you believe he's got a little bit of a pupil in there. Okay. Now we start to block the rest of this out. I'm going to put away my precise size 0 brush. I have to remember tomorrow I need to buy a new size 2 brush, a Raphael size 2 that's got a better tip. Okay, so, oh, speaking of which, this guy's shirt is low cut and I don't know why. But let's honor his low cut shirt like that. Okay. So what I'm thinking, Royal, I want him to have a purple crown, and he'll have a purple crown and kind of a purple robe here, or purple cloak. These guys will have purple hats with yellow feathers, like chicken feathers. And then this here will be like navy. I guess it'll be navy, that background. So let's work on that. I think the trolls have a little too much HP, especially with Healer's Park. I'm gonna disagree. I mean, trolls they're by design are supposed to be, extremely durable. So I think they did that well. The one thing trolls really lack is they don't have high energy counts, right? Most people will mix trolls and fairies for that very reason, because the fairies have the opposite. They're pretty fragile. They're very hard to hit, but they're pretty fragile. They don't have much HP. Whereas the trolls the opposite, and fairies have tons of energy, right? So mixing fairies and trolls is what people want to do, or fairies and giants. When you start getting into stuff like pirates, I think pirates can be very strong, because there are ways to get insane amounts of energy on pirates. And pirates are more durable than fairies. They're better diggers. They're also, and they have some pretty strong attacks. Like, they can actually focus down trolls if and when they need to. So I think that's good. I do think gnomes kind of do it better when you have a better, like, gnomes, if you have a good cohesive game plan, it is very hard to deal with gnomes. I've been playing Norse gnomes, and I don't run the optimum internet lists either, right? I just run like, oh, these are the cool gnomes that I want to run. And people say, take this guy so that you could do this and do this, and you'll have this guy. And I'm like, I get that, but I want to play the cool miniatures that I want to play, right? I like to play Krusty Balboa on pirates, even though I would argue that Krusty Balboa is one of the weakest Goblin pirates. He's just not. His abilities are so dicey that really most of the time he's just a really useful kind of tank. Um, that towards the end of the game he gets a little bit more useful, but a lot of times, you know, he's outshined by the likes of the Swiggity Swooty and we'll say Swiggity Swooty and C6 El Capitano. Trolls, I don't know. Trolls don't really bother me as much as fairies do. Fairies just make life difficult. And fairies have like really good they have that really good passive stat line, right? -2 evade. They tend to have 4 melee, which is a little crazy. They tend to have 4 to 5 arcane, which is also really crazy. But they also have the weak ability, so they don't dig. You know, the one thing you need to know about when you're facing lists that are like fairies and fawns and that sort of thing is a lot of times they don't want to dig the moonstones. So there is a little bit of cat and mouse, especially that particular build we went up against that was trolls and fairies. They don't want to spend troll energy digging unless there really is no option and unless that stone is really close to them. So that's something to be aware of, right? They don't really care to like they don't really care to waste their energy doing that. What they want to do is they want to beat you in a fight first, and they want you to be spending your energy digging stones so that they can stick to what they're good at, which is, you know, fighting you. So let's do that. I'll put that there. All right. So we got that blocked in, and then let's see. I can see one of his feet right here. Am I missing anything else? So they're going to be against blue backgrounds. Their outfits are going to be mainly like purple and mauve. So let's they're going to have, well, that's not very goblin-y, is it? Goblins are more like yellows and yeah, they're more like yellows. Let's put some purples down though. For sure we want to do that. And I can block with purple. It's just rarely the speed paint purple that I have is not very good. It'll give you an idea where I'm going with it. Let's see. So when you call the bluff, you can just call the numbers claimed incorrectly, or as long as the colors match, it's okay. No. You need the exact value of the card. You need the exact value of the card. It has to be color and value. So, you know, if you call blue 3, or yeah, if you call blue 3 and you only have blue 2, you are in trouble. It's not going to work out so well. Uh-oh. Screw ads. We're not doing ads, guys. Screw ads. We're not doing ads. Just I don't know why. I don't know why I still have my channel set to ads. Right? Only my friends watch the channel, so there's no real reason to do that. All right. So these guys being the royal burger flippers here, they will have purple hats. Similar. Maybe the Goblin King's hat will be red to signify that's how famous my boy is. right? So let's do that. Let's do, these guys will have purple. And I guess they'll have purple hats with yellow feathers, right? Right? Purple hats with yellow feathers. And then their like shirts and stuff will be browns and gray. They'll have like, we'll do like brown, I don't know. That's crazy. Nathaniel had all the first 4 times. Yeah. Yeah, he had, I mean, you had the, typical Nelson luck in that he had every card he needed. And the odds of him having every single card he needs are astronomically low. But he had them. And, you called bluff on him, and that's how the game works, right? You can. I want to put them in orange, but I just think it would look silly. I'd say let's put them in. Let's put them in like a satchel brown pants, and let's do like a light green. They'll have like a light, almost like a pea soup green shirt. Because what I don't want is I don't want a little goblin's outfits to be, we'll say, distracting compared to the rest of the model. So they'll have these like pea soup green shirts like this. If we're being literal, it's just jerkin. It's a pea soup green jerkin. Like that. It's a pea soup green jerkin. And then he'll have like a brown pants. Right? So all these guys will be in their respective pea soup green and brown pants. Right. Maybe not brown. Brown's probably a little wrong for that. Pea soup green and like, how about like gray? Yeah, well, let's do like gray. Like, let's see. Right? All I'm trying to do is, we just do not want the little goblin outfits to take away from Mr. Goblin King here. Right? And the nice thing about color blocking with these speed paints is it's very easy to correct if you don't like something. Unlike contrast paints. Contrast paints very hard to correct. Speed paints is specifically like Speed Paints 2.0. They're much easier to correct for. Okay. Go. Yeah, so like you can even barely you can barely notice what these guys have. Okay. Pretty good. Next thing I want to do is I want to paint the whole of the throne And I could go with like a light, right, like a pallid bone. So it's a light colored throne, and then uh, paint it a little darker wood. Or I could actually try to make it a more like glamorous type throne and go with darker wood, which I think that's probably better. It's probably a better way to go. So I think I will do that. I'm gonna go with dark wood on the throne. I know he doesn't look like much yet, guys, but when he's all color blocked and together, you guys will see what we're going for here. And you might like it, you might not like it. It's okay. I think painting the wood of the throne. Wait, what color is that? Is that no, that's the purple. Oops, that would have been bad. Right. This is kind of nice because we'll have this dark wood throne like this that looks very clean and regal, and then we'll beat it up when we get to the actual painting part of it. Okay. And then you have yeah. Yeah, that was no joke. He had like everything you could possibly want. That first round of spells. That guy had like everything. It was crazy good. So this wood will have, we'll do like maybe brass accents on it, holding it all together. Right now the whole thing will be dark wood, right? Just from a blocking standpoint, it'll be all this color. This game is so good. This game is so good. Right now, I will just say, honestly, if I were to look at every system that is out today, I will say if there's a miniatures game that you could play potentially every day and always have a good time, whether or not you're playing somebody that you regularly play, or in my opinion, I feel like this game actually is a little bit better to play with people you don't normally play and you don't know a whole lot about because of the bluff mechanic. Because this really does what a lot of miniature games fail to do, if I'm being honest with you, is these miniature games, in my opinion, one of the things that miniature games have the potential to do is they have the potential to help people socialize. Because they're supposed to be interactive, right? You should be, if you're playing an enjoyable miniature game, it should be a game that both players, and in this case, you can even have multiple players, can be fully engaged in. They feel like they have agency in, like they have some say in what's going on, and everyone's sort of striving towards the goal of really playing something very entertaining. If what I like about this game is, it almost doesn't matter who I'm playing against, but all games sort of start off like, you're kind of feeling out the opponent. You try a spell or an action here or there, kind of test the waters with your range. You're kind of feeling that person out. You're playing that bluffing game early, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what kind of player do I think this is? Blah blah blah, and you can just enjoy it from that sense, right? You're already, whether you are conscious of it or not, you're already kind of starting to get to know who your opponent is, right? Just during the course of playing some of those early abilities, getting into the arcane cards and the bluff mechanic. You're like, oh, okay, that's what we're into. They're also starting to get to know you. So during the game, you're getting to know that person. And as the game progresses, what's nice is it's a 4-turn game, and towards turn 3, turn 4, if you're playing this correctly, both players are fully invested, and they're now the game is starting to reach that tension where it's like, oh, I either have a shot at winning this game because XYZ. I hope Z doesn't happen because my opponent can run away with the game. Blah blah blah. So you're by the time you're in the tense moments of the game, where individual activations count and individual decisions to call bluff or not bluff count, you are now fully socialized with the other players in your game. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you've already been through a couple of rounds of here's how I'm going to play my arcane abilities, here's how I'm going to bluff or not bluff, here's how I'm looking at my melee. You're already starting to see, what your opponent, how your opponent is sort of approaching this particular game. That's fantastic, right? And when things are tense towards the end of the game, now you kind of know that person. You have banter. The game encourages banter. Okay? The game is not I have 7 heavy bolters and 21 dice, and we roll the dice, and I hit you there, and you make your save, and I roll again, and you go again, and I move again. It's not like that. Moonstone is a socially engaged game because of the bluff mechanic, because of the card melee mechanic. It is a socially engaged game. And I don't know if that term is going to make sense to you guys or not, but that's what why I think this game as a tabletop miniatures game that involves other live human beings. That is why this game stands head and shoulders above all of those other games, right? Malifaux is, you could argue you get some of that in Malifaux because you're like, oh, you're going to play for this trigger, blah, blah, blah. But it's not nearly the mental head game that Moonstone is capable of being. Not only that, it's not draining. Like Malifaux, I love Malifaux. Okay, I love Malifaux. Right, I played a game the other day, super into like the experimental stuff. I even got Ivan 2 back out there. Ivan 2! And I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying Malifaux. But Malifaux is very draining. Let's be real. Malifaux, like you play a lot of Malifaux and your brain is gonna be hurting. I know, I've done it plenty of times. It even with crews that I know like the back of my hand, right? I play Colette all day long, don't get me wrong, absolutely love that crew. But the amount of mental fatigue that you face playing a game of Malifaux versus playing a game of Moonstone are not even close. You could play Moonstone pretty much all day and be like, yeah, that's cool, we're playing that, that's cool. And you could just keep playing Moonstone. The mechanics for Moonstone are phenomenal. The setting for Moonstone is excellent. It is excellent. To me, it is what I think it's what differentiates the game for me versus a lot of other people. Okay, it's what It's what I was instantly drawn to with Moonstone that other people were like, ew, I don't know if I like that. All right, and here's what I mean by that. Moonstone does not take itself too look. I'm saying this game does not take itself too seriously. Okay, big shock, big shock. The game, and I love that miniature. I hate it's a grim dark future and only war. We're gonna fight, you guys. I don't I don't like super serial games. I don't like that. I've never really liked super serial. You know, my favorite time for GW games was when they didn't take themselves so seriously. Blood Bowl didn't take itself so seriously. This is, guys, we're pushing miniature goblins and gnomes around that are fighting over rocks. They're fighting over rocks. Why does this? Why do you need it to be Batman, guys? It it's a freaking game. Like just play a game. Then for tournaments, it's a little random. I want to be the best guy. Like it's okay. There are games for that, and yeah, Moonstone does. Believe it or not, Moonstone does have enough of a competitive element to where you can play in a tournament and say, oh, I played well, I didn't play well, right? I shouldn't have bluffed. I shouldn't have, right? I shouldn't have done this. There are definitely lessons to be learned, and you can play that. But at the end of the day, like you're playing the guy on the lobster versus the guy on the pug. Okay, that's what's so beautiful. This game has so many like just it just strikes balance the balance of having fun and playing an interesting game. It just strikes that balance so well. You know what I mean? You don't. It's not too serious, and it's not just absolutely random. Okay. When I think of like absolutely random games, I think of what comes to mind for me if you're talking like absolutely random games, anything by TT Combat. And this is not a criticism, by the way. It's what I love about TT Combat games, and I'm talking about Carnival, and I'm talking about Carnival and Rumble Slam specifically. Okay, that's those games are amazing and they're very fun. But the minute you take Rumble Slam seriously, you have lost. You've lost the game. You've lost the plot. Like just don't. Yeah, it's time. It's time to hang it up. You're not. There's not much left there for you to learn. So there's that. Okay. Um. All right. So we're gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna do purple. We're gonna do purple cloak, and then I think what we're gonna do, we'll do a purple cloak, and we'll do a. The crown itself will be like vermilion, right? That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, Moonstone has so much going for it. The one thing I want to do with Moonstone is I do want a smaller scale version of the game. Okay, so like I like the idea of mini stone. Okay, what's mini stone? Mini stone is just Moonstone with a couple of modifications. Okay, go from 7 Moonstones down to 5 Moonstones. Make it a 2-player game. Put it on a 2x2 table. And there you go. And each player plays 3 models each. And that's mini stone. And you should be done in like 30 to 45 minutes. You should be done with mini stone. Okay? That's my idea. That's I would consider mini stone like a new player type event. It's like, oh, you just got in Moonstone. Okay, you know, bring your starter package. Bring your 3 miniatures with you, and put them on the board. And everybody else can bring 3 miniatures, and you just play your quick games. Now there's gonna be people, I need to win Ministone, and that's fine. You want to play your dumb, like 3 combo, absolutely busted trash to play and win in a newbie tournament? Like that's your life choice to make, guy. You can do that, right? You could you could do that. And other people, it's for babies. Ministone's for babies. I want to play the real man's Moonstone. We're gonna play gnomes like a real man. Like you could be that guy. You want to? Yeah, you could. I mean, I I guess you could be that guy. But you know what I mean. It's not. It's just not gonna be. What? What is? Does he have like? What does he have on his? What is that? See that? It's got a little tabard there. I don't know if he's got little rings on there or what. What is going on down there is what I want to know. Should I paint that orange is the next thing I want to know. Is it like a fire crotch situation going on down there? What is that? These look like suckers. Like he's got a like octopus down there. What is going on with you, Mr. Goblin King? I I don't know what to do, guys. I don't know what to do. Should that be creepy? What should I do down there? No idea. Uh, yeah. Uh, I'm just gonna. Okay, guys. I'm just gonna do something down there, and we're not gonna judge. Okay. I don't know. I don't. Just I'm gonna paint it. I didn't sculpt it. I did not sculpt that. We're gonna paint it something, and you guys are not. You're not gonna tell me things. Okay. We're. This is a judgment-free zone. You're not gonna. There. Just there. Okay. I don't. I don't know what that is, guys. I don't know. I don't know what that is. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it just like that. All right. Uh, I guess his shoes should be purple too. I guess. But yeah, Moonstone, great game. And the art and the themes are so good that I I took a look at the miniature line and I said I absolutely love this entire line of miniatures. Like I could paint every Moonstone miniature and really enjoy it. Like I really have a good time painting them, right? The miniatures are just off the charts great with the kind of character that they have. As you can see, I'm quite a fan of that. So, okay. Next up, we are going to paint the red top side of the crown. It is going to ultimately be more vermilion, just for your information. So I'm going to paint that red for now. Right, so this is going to be vermilion up here. That next layer there is going to be gold. This layer here is going to be the actual moonstones. So we're going to paint the moonstones. Obviously, they need to be like a pale blue. So I have some thoughts. Frostheart might be a good way to block this. So I think I may do that. I may do Frostheart, or I may do... I might even do something lighter. Frostheart's pretty good. Frostheart's pretty good. I could do Magic Blue also. But I feel like Frostheart's probably where we want to go. Okay. So, and I'm going to do the inside of the scepter. Okay. If you guys are just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. This, my friends, is the limited edition Goblin King Coronation by Goblin King Games for the game that I'm currently raving about right now called Moonstone. It's a game you should be playing. Yeah, you should be playing it. I don't want to hear about your 40K. I don't care. I don't care how much money you spent on 40K, okay? Listen, I also spent a fair bit of money back in the day. Not as much as you did, because I bought that much longer ago. Right? So I'm not spending as much as you just did. But I spent enough and saw enough money go down that route to go, yeah, I don't need to do that. That doesn't need to be part of my life. Anyway. So he has like moonstones going this way around his crown. He has that cool chicken hat. And that's really cool. And then I gotta do the, well, let's do the yellow on the feathers. And let's do the gold, yellow feathers. The speed paint yellows are actually quite good. I really think they're very good. Like you could go like pastel yellow and go like kind of brighter. I like to start a little more orange, so we're going to go with Zealot yellow. Right, so we're going to get the yellow feathers going, like so. Oh, I forgot to, I need to do the chicken hat too. So we'll paint the chicken hat. Yellow back there. Cool. And let's get the, yeah, chicken hat is also quite good. This will get faded down to like a more desaturated red, because it's really just his rooster cap, which is on the original Goblin King model, which I absolutely love the original model too. So once it ends up in store, I'm probably gonna buy the original Goblin King model, and this model will be the model my son uses, and I'll use that other one. Right? So my kid will get this really cool one. Alright, so now this is where we're gonna get a little wonky, and it might look a little weird, and if it does, yeah, I'm gonna have to live with that. But I like the idea of using this scorched metal as the base for the scepter, right? Because I want to have a brass or copper looking scepter, I think that would look really cool. Right? Some of these metallic colors are really nice, but metallic paints themselves can be hit and miss. This happens to be a Reaper metallic, which are, in my opinion, they're serviceable, but they're not as good as AK metallics. In fact, you can see how brown that looks. Okay. So it's right now it looks like on camera almost the same color as the throne. It's that dark. But remember, we're just color blocking everything right now, so all this stuff they'll all start to differentiate as we do the painting, the layering up, all that good stuff. Yeah, the whole point of this was I want the scepter to be darker. I think the studio art is like a steel colored scepter, and I did not like that as much. I'm going to go with a more copper colored scepter. That's going to help the blue stand out as well on this. Right? And it's going to help the Dominion, that moon, kind of stand out as well. I'm not sure just yet what color to use to block the moon. It's got to be a fairly pale color, so I'm thinking probably like runic gray, or I have a battleship gray that might work too. Battleship gray might be a little too light, but we'll see. See, I got a little bit of that scorched metal on his finger there. It's not so great, but like I said, we can fix that during painting proper. Okay, so here we go. It's pretty nice. Now let's get the gold down. And we're gonna want you could use the speed paint, the gold speed paints, which are quite good. The one thing I would say though is if it's between that and say Rusty Brass by AK, I think Rusty Brass is going to be better. So, but also I have a hard time finding stuff, as you guys know, so it's just going to be whichever color I find first. And I accidentally touched that, so I got a little bit of that red. You can see on my finger there. Alright, so we're going to use this glittering loot for the gold. And these speed paints are kind of nice because, what's nice about them is if you're already in a light undercoat, they work great. A lot of true metallics, they want you to paint a true metallic over a darker undercoat. So it's nice to have this option where you can do this guy like that. Guy's got a lot of rings on too, the Goblin King. And there's even a little gold here. Along there. So it's looking pretty good. We're getting there, guys. This really is a fancier, much fancier version of the Goblin King. Okay. And also the supports back here on the wood. I mean, I could paint like this is the speed paint. It still works over other speed paint, right? That's another area where these outperform, say, GW contrast paints. GW contrast paints, you cannot do this with them, right? And I'm gonna just paint these brackets here. Really make him look final form type fancy, right? Should this whole backing there be gold, or am I good? Can't tell. Should that be gold also? Do not know. Because it looks like it might have to be. It looks like that might have to be gold back there. In order for that to make sense, right? Because that looks like, yeah, those look like the supports. Yeah, these look like the supports of the whole thing, so. Okay, so let's paint them all gold for now. And then we'll get in and detail them. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good. Last thing we're going to do right now is we're going to, oh, you know what? I should do something. For the moon, I think we should do something even more pale than what I was thinking of doing. And I don't know if it's going to, well, let's do it. We're going to use this Night Haunt Gloom for the moon. Because it's going to match the actual like faction symbol. So that should be pretty cool. Okay. And so I'm going to put that in. And you can already see what that's doing. Right? It's got a nice, it's got that nice pale moon to it. All right, so the key is going to be forcing this more into like a pale desaturated color, while the blue of the Moonstone starts looking brighter in the background, right? The way to do that is by forcing shade into the Moonstone areas and then painting in like really bright blues over that. Okay, so let's start with And I could go with like blue ink to really force that down, or I could try a more gentle approach and use a dark blue, like a midnight blue wash. So the more gentle solution is easier to start with. It's less risk. There's less risk involved. So I could go in with this night blue. So let's do that first before we commit to anything more severe. Okay. So a little bit of night blue wash right in here. You can see what that's doing. That's kind of just giving me some shadow to the moonstones. Okay. I'll let that dry, and then we really start to gussy it up from there. Oh, there is one more thing I need to do here. Okay, so moonstones like that. Take a tiny little bit of red. I'm going to hit the comb of this chicken that's on his crown. I love that the Goblin King's symbol is a chicken. Love that. Okay. All right, so now we're in a pretty good spot. Now I'm actually going to, we want to work on his skin. Right, in his skin, he's got kind of a gray green tone to him. And I want to play up his skin tones a bit. This is where things start to get a little weird on the paint side. And really, I'm just experimenting. So, I'm thinking we want to do English gray as a base, but I also want to have something reasonably light playing around in there. Either light green or like a true emerald would be kind of cool. And you don't want to upset the balance of your colors. Intermediate green might work. Or fluorescent green or scorpion green. I don't know. Let's try fluorescent green. Let's just go weird. I'm just going to go fluorescent green. Okay. Let's take a drop and a half of that. We'll do a drop and a half of this English gray. Maybe just a drop. Right? And then I want this color to be very smooth. So I'm actually going to use acrylic thinner, not water. Right? Just a little bit of acrylic thinner. And I want this to I want this to be fairly thin. Okay. And that's that's a fairly sickly color. I feel like it needs a little blue. So let's drop a little. Oh, I should have done this. Blue-green. Let's do a little blue-green in there. Just a tiny bit. Let's mix that in. Yeah, that's a good color. Okay. So I end up with this sort of, I'll call this, I don't have an exact tone for this, but I'm going to call it day old toothpaste. Okay. Almost, the blue got super strong in there. I'm a little concerned about that, but it's okay. Yeah, you can see he's got, that's a bit of blue. We've got, not the end of the world. fact, it's actually kind of nice and bright. And it's gonna make at least his body part stand out a bit, right? This is like a very similar color to how I had C6 do. Okay, but remember, like, my goal is to not have like green GW orcs. Right? Everybody and their mom has that green GW orc, including me. I have green, that GW style orc somewhere. Got a bunch of those. And I want those. I got a little problem there. Well, I can fix that. I can fix that. Thank you, sir. Let's just get a little shade there. There we go. That color kind of bled over. But you can see where I'm going with this color, right? He's actually looking a little bit closer in complexion to the other goblins. They're the ones that are actually going to end up going more green. Whereas this guy, he's going to be sort of this grayish color. This bluish gray. Guy's got bling like Liberace. Look at all that bling on his hands. I mean, you can see, I hope you guys can tell how much fun I'm having painting this, right? I hope you guys could see how much fun I'm having getting these guys done, getting this one model done, right? I mean, when I paint Moonstone, I usually batch paint. This guy came in on his own order. He was a special order. Okay, I still want him to be pretty neon. This is kind of nuts, but no, not that color. Hold on. We want I'm mixing in a little bit of fluorescent into this. Whoa, that was a lot bit. I didn't mean that much. Sorry. And oops, that was a lot. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, now this color is starting to get now it's starting to get like almost a mint color, which is also quite cool because I mixed a little more, right? So now and so now you're starting to see a little more green come in. Still got good blue and gray tones to it. But now you're starting to see more of that green happen. There are just an astronomical amount of colors on this model. If you haven't noticed, there is a lot. It's just a very, very busy model. And then normally that drives me crazy, but this is hilarious, right? I don't see a problem with this guy being this hilarious. Okay. And I'm gonna draw it out to super fine. Okay. So he's starting to get his character, right? We're starting to see what this Goblin King is about. Just based on how his skin is coming in. He does have a little hint of that GW Goblin skin, right? He's got a hint of it, but he's still not a typical GW Goblin green. He still has quite a bit of personality into his own here. All right, let's build up the purples now. So, you know, it would be nice if I actually did kind of do a better job organizing my paints. Okay, I'm going to try something a little wild on the other goblins because I do that. Whoa! They're going to have a slightly more neon green to their tone. All right. Right, so they're almost going to be like this guy up here. He's almost blue. This guy's been like snorting moonstones himself, the guy up top. Right, he's had a busy life, okay? We don't know what he does in his spare time. He's not just always like holding the crown down on the Goblin King here. He's got other things going on, okay? Okay. So they're all looking. Yeah, I'm liking this sort of bluish green skin tone. Right? It's how their skin kind of changed when they're living on that island, that permanently moonlit island, right? Their skin looks a little blue, right? I think it's cool. Right, here we go. And this guy's really rad. This guy here is definitely the most swole of the goblins. to be able to push his boss up like that. Okay. All right. It's time to layer up the purple. So I need some purple. Let me know if you have any other questions on Moonstone or just chilling. Like I said, this is a pretty fancy model. So only the best. Get too much of the Walter White. Yeah, they got too much of the crystal blue. It's the pure stuff. All right. So now we're gonna layer this up. I mean, honestly, guys, if a lot of times we would kind of look at the model in this kind of sort of color block state and go, okay, it's pretty good, right? We'll just throw some highlights on it and be done. But I'm just enjoying this process so much that we're just gonna paint. We're just gonna paint him some more. We're just gonna kind of let him breathe. Right? This model is super cool. Right, and you can see what the purple does as it's coming into the speed paint is it gives it truth, is what I like to say. Like it legitimizes that speed paint and says, no, that actually is, you are actually doing some painting here. That is paint. There is a layer of paint there. And it looks pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking that quite a bit. Okay. We're going to want some more blues to work on the moonstones. I actually want some of that like dark Prussian blue, if I can find it. Oh, these are a bunch of blues I could have used earlier, but it's fine. That's fine. That's how my process always works. I find the actual color of a color that I've already completed. No dark Prussian blue, even though I just used it like 2 paint jobs ago. Everything likes to hide. I could use this Imperial blue. No, that's too... I'd rather use this light Prussian blue. Okay. Let's see what I'm gonna do here. Okay. Just get a thin amount of that. I'm gonna kind of use it to really kind of highlight the moon more than itself. If that makes sense, right? Kind of using this light Prussian blue here to give us some more belief in that moon there. And these are like moonstone chips on his crown. So I'll do that. Okay. Whoa. What happened? What happened? Am I still I'm still live, right? What happened? Why did my computer fall asleep? Is that what happened? Okay. Okay. All right. This is how we're looking so far. It's time to do a little bit of vermilion. As you can see, now we're kind of flying all over the place with this guy, right? Because now we're in the proper highlighting phases. And we're getting all the highlights down. Really enjoy that. I don't know, about 5 minutes to get hit with an ad when it's very short to... Okay. Well, that's good. All right. So we got this. We're looking pretty good, guys. Let's highlight the wood. And for that, we're gonna need a reasonable, like, brown. I don't know what constitutes a reasonable brown, but we'll find it somewhere. Maybe like leather brown? That might work. Yeah, that's a reasonable brown. Okay, cool. All right, again, all we're doing we're just legitimizing the color that's there, right? That's all we're doing. Especially in colors like this brown for the wood. Sometimes you're okay to just get an impression of it down like that, right? That's all you're trying to do. Real simple. Someone never explained to me what's underneath that loincloth, okay? I don't ever want to know what that actually is. All right. Good, good. Looking pretty good. I want a tiny little highlight on the purple. Actually doing quite well here, guys. As you can see, this is a little bit longer than I tend to take on miniatures because, like I said, I'm really enjoying this. I want this to, I want my Goblin King here to stand out a bit. I want him to look the part, right? So a little bit of a little bit of highlight. It's gonna go a long ways on this guy. Okay, cool. Feeling pretty good about him so far. Reblending some of that back in. Okay, looking pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do, this is almost a nothing thing to do, but a little bit of green just underneath the throne is going to help me ultimately when it comes to doing the basing on this guy. So might as well get that down. You don't even have to do anything more than that. All right, now get a little buff down. So you guys really are watching like pretty much the entire process now. Right? Pretty much watching the whole thing go down. Right? Including the chicken part of the crown. Including the trim. And then we gotta highlight. We gotta highlight the gold. Okay. We also have to paint the scepter. But before we do that, I need to put down a very light color. It goes as the top highlight for the moonstones in the center of the scepter, right? Let's have a and I'm even going to use it to highlight the moon here, right? I want that there, and I want this. Right? Let me know if you have any questions, comments, threats. You know those are all good on this channel. All right. Okay. I'm getting pretty happy with where this is. Couple things I do want to do, though. I do want to clean up this eyelid area. I have to do so pretty carefully. Right? I want the eyelids to right, I still want the Goblin King to keep his eyelids. It's very important. And then I also, just to be a jerk, I also want a little bit of wartiness to his wart there. So, I'm going to pick a color that I think is going to be suitable for that. I'm surprised it hasn't shown up yet. Leisure Magenta. And this is, thank you, sir. I want this to just, I want to just be slightly grossed out by this right here. Right? I want to be just slightly grossed out by that. By the wart on his nose. That's it. That's it. Just you'd be surprised what a difference that actually does to this model. Okay. Moving on. We're gonna go with copper on the scepter. Okay. Dude, this is so much fun to paint, not even lying. It's so much fun. And you know me, I normally like painting like right the pretty ladies, nobles. I normally like that sort of thing. I mean, he is a noble, of course, but he's not the usual noble I like to play. I'm almost never drawn to sort of the orc or goblin faction in any of the games I play. But with Moonstone, like any of the factions are good. I think they're all really quite good. Yeah, we're just gonna crank, guys. We're gonna crank. We're gonna go super fast now because we are very much towards the finish line here. A little bit of gold. Yeah, we are killing it, guys. Okay, and a little bit of yellow. Swear to you, we are just about done, guys. Actually, I don't like that yellow. Let's do a different yellow. It's a crazy yellow. I don't care. I'm just gonna go with it, guys. I'm just gonna go with it. It might be a little overpowering, but we're going with it. Nah, we cool. We cool. Nice. So the little you there. There. This dude. And then I need like a kind of like an olive green or something, or like a taupe to get the last bit of the shirts that they're wearing. Maybe sand yellow might work. Okay. You can totally see where we went with these guys, though, right? And then for you locals, you guys will get to be able to check out this miniature tomorrow, because I will have this miniature on me when we're playing Moonstone tomorrow. So, super fun. You can ask me all about it. Whatever. Oh, I want ivory. See, I'm getting greedy. I want ivory. Whatever question you may have about the Goblin King here. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I want that yellow right there on the bill of the chicken. I want that. And then I want a little bit of ivory here. I like that. This is like the nicest this Goblin King has ever looked in his life. Maybe my one criticism of my paint job is I may have made him a little too fancy. He may be a little too regal looking. Right? I may have gone a little too far on this. And I'm okay with that. It's fine. He's super funny to me, so that's what matters. But really fun. Okay. This guy is freaking awesome. I like him a lot. Really excited for him. Yeah, and he's about as fancy as they come. Last thing I need to do is, this is gonna be pretty easy, but we're going to throw a little bit of greenery down at his feet. So I'm gonna stick a spot of glue right there, and we'll stick one spot of glue right there. Okay. And then literally just reach over, grab a tuft, and oh, do I have flowers or anything? Yeah, I got flowers. I'll have these like white flowers. Sure, I don't care. No, those aren't white flowers. I want something fancy. Let's just do. Let's do the green grass, and let's do a slightly smaller grass. I'll do that. Okay. And green grass. That's too big. Shove the green grass down in there. And we'll shove the green grass right here. There we go. All right. That's it. Then we just paint the bottom black. I mean, there's more stuff. Like, you can keep going on this guy for as long as you like. I'm gonna call it here because we've been painting for like 2 hours. So I'm gonna call it here. I gotta feed my kids anyway. But I'm pretty happy overall where this landed. It's pretty much how I had imagined him to look in my head. I'll just pat a little more detail on him. If you guys have any other questions or comments, we'll chill for a minute here before I call the stream to a close. But yeah, that's our Goblin King. He's ready to go. I think I still have to throw a magnet underneath his base, so I'll do that at some point. But yeah, that's our guy. That's our guy. Let's get a little bit of detail in that gold. Let's get a little bit of shading is all that we really need to do, right? So shading at certain parts to bring some more detail into this guy, right? Especially here around the scepter area. Right, I want that moon to pop, so you can see that. So we're gonna have the moon pop out there. Kind of want all this to maybe one criticism of this particular color scheme is I may have done like way too much blue altogether right there. There may be too many different shades of blue going on. So I'll accept that. A little bit there going on with the crown. A little here. And then there. Okay. But overall, pretty happy with this dude. Let's get a little detail on this guy in the back. Sure. Right. Overall, pretty good. Right. That's Goblin King. He's, again, really shocked in how much you have in this this little 30 mil base. How much you actually are able to get there. See, I could just keep doing this forever and ever, but I do have to get my kids some dinner, so let me figure that out. All right, guys. Any other questions, comments, threats? Again, the Goblin King. Super love this guy. He's gonna. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm gonna field him tomorrow. I don't know if he works well with my pirates. He might. I don't know. I might even field him with nobles. That might actually be kind of funny to have him and Duchess on the same team. Right? Haven't really haven't looked too hard at his stat card. Right? Arcane 0. He has weakling. That's terrible. This character deals... Okay, there's slicing. Royal privilege. When this character would suffer damage, you may have a friendly goblin for all that damage instead. And then he has Rule the Roost. He can make this target goblin suffers 2 wounds, gains 2 energy, and activates immediately after this character's activation ends. If the target has already activated, then this is a bonus activation. Otherwise, this counts as the target's activation. So obviously, it's a second activate, which is really strong. You might actually want to do that with some of the pirates. And then he has the ability to take Moonstones. Wow, this dude deals 4 damage against a low guard if he upgrades his falling swing. That's insane. And it deals +1 damage to golems, and it reduces all damage suffered from goblins to nothing. That is insanely good. That's quite good, Mr. Goblin King. All right. Okay, team. So we're done. Yeah, pretty excited for this guy. I think he turned out pretty well. And I know he's super busy, but let's leave it there. And thanks everybody for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.